Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 189. Listen, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. And that's what we're doing here on Wholesale Hotline. We are connecting. We're connecting in the chat, in the comments section. We're connecting here live with incredible wholesalers that are local here. We're connecting with each other. I am Brent Daniels.
Jamil Damji.
And we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I just got one of the best text messages a dad could ever get.
What is it?
My daughter sent me a message and said, "Hey, Dad, can I please join Astro Flipping?"
Awesome.
She's 14 years old.
Awesome.
She wants to take control of the finances in her family's life.
Sure.
And wants to be helpful.
So what do you do at that point? I mean, do you just like open it up and get it, treat it like a normal
person,
open-minded person that is joining your tribe, your community?
Yeah.
Or do you go, boom?
No, she's going to go through it the exact same way anybody else would. Right. She's going to get set up with
no special treatment.
No, she has to understand what it is. Right. I want her to do the work. It's not nepotism in this world. Right. This is about you. It's a meritocracy. And, I've had students in the Astro community that have crushed it at 15. I got one guy right now. He's in India. He's probably watching this right now. So I am, dude. He's a kid.
Yeah.
Right. And he's in India and he's crushed. He's got 4 deals going right now. 4 deals closing. Right. This is insanity to me. Right. Andy Wrong, 15 years old, joins the Astro community. He's netting over $50,000 a month in his wholesale business. Yep. Right. In addition to that, he invented the Astro Blaster software that, another thousands of people have been doing deals with. So you look at this and I think there's no age limit, right? There should be no age limit. She's 14 years old.
Yep.
And, I think good honor for having the wherewithal to say, I like the way Dad lives.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do something like this for myself. And I want to be able to possibly help Mom's household a little bit. And so, here she goes and she wants to take things into her own hands. And I think that's just like, my gosh, man, somebody couldn't have said a nicer thing to me,
So do you foster that when she's growing up, when she's younger? Or, you know what I mean? Because I feel like it could be really easy to just be like, oh, my dad's super rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He'll take care of me.
Yeah, she could have that. And, and I think from her perspective and from what I've said to my children is that, I will give you opportunities.
Yeah.
I will teach you things.
Yeah.
I will not destroy you.
Mm-hmm.
I will not destroy you by giving you things.
Yeah.
I just won't.
I love it.
And I'll give a little bit because of course you're going to get a little bit of help being my daughter.
Sure.
But you're not going to be given the world. You have to earn it. And I don't think that I'd be doing her a disservice if I didn't give her the opportunity to evolve.
Well, you remember when you lost everything, you remember what you had to do to climb back out of it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You get a sense of pride. You get a sense of thicker skin and almost you feel bulletproof at this point that if anything gets thrown at you, you can handle it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And if you don't, if you're given everything and it's taken away, you don't have the skills built up to go out there and get it yourself.
That's it.
Right?
Yep.
Absolutely incredible. I love it. And she's ready to go.
She's ready to go. She's
in Canada.
She bro, look at this. This text message just changed me. but it's like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I need the link.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You know, like this is just like dad pride. You wouldn't like the best. I feel so blessed right now. What a thing.
Yeah, there was a
Could cry.
yeah, there was a picture at my son's school that had famous quotes, and I don't remember who had said it, but it said, and I've been thinking about this a lot, and I wanted to talk to you about it. Be the ancestor that your relatives are proud of.
Oh man.
Right. And so I thought that was so powerful. And it's one of those things where I spent this weekend with a lot of family because we had a family wedding at my cabin. And you just wonder the trajectory, right? Like my grandparents' parents came here from Ireland and England to just start a new life. Right. And so they became farmers in Iowa. And then each generation builds and builds and builds. And some really go for it. Some provide an incredible amount of service and build up really, good bank accounts and good lifestyles and good assets. If you want to look at it from like just a business perspective, right? And some just decided, you know what, I want to just live in the middle of nowhere in Wyoming. I want to just get little cars to work on and just not really do much out in the community. But that's what I want to do.
To each their own. We're all entitled to our experience in
Right.
this world, right? And
yeah, but don't you feel as an entrepreneur going out there, it is nonstop all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we say, you go on vacations.
Look at this office before we got started today. Like,
right.
Brent and I were shooting reels, making ads, getting things going like that. It is nonstop.
No, but what I mean is like, is there just certain things? Everybody on here has a different brain.
Yes.
Everybody in here has a different brain. We all want to go out and do something special, right?
Yes.
We all have something called goals. Believe it or not, like 90% of people don't have goals. Did you know that?
I didn't.
It's like something ridiculous like that. 90% of people have never written down a goal.
I feel like when I was in my mother's tummy,
right.
my goal was to be born.
Right.
And when I came out, my goal was for boobies.
Right.
And when I got those, I always had a goal.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever had no goal. How could I have no goal?
I don't know. Just aimless.
Damn.
Well, I mean, listen, beyond, survival. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about thriving. I'm talking about something that you really want to accomplish that is written down and really going after it. And I just, I find it incredible. That's why I love everybody that's in the comments. Goal was for boobies. Yeah. Everybody that's here, everybody that we get the honor to be able to coach and be around and network with and communicate with. It's just incredible. And I think about that quote now, always. I think I'll always have that stuck in my brain.
Be the person in your family.
Be the ancestor
that your family is proud of.
That your relatives are proud of, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That really is incredible. And it hits home. It hits home because you are that guy for your ancestors, for your future generations.
I'm working on it.
You're working
on a daily, on a minute by minute, hour by hour basis. Absolutely. But this is something that you brought real estate into your family's life, right?
Yes.
And now it's in your daughters.
And now it's in my daughters. Yeah. And, and the other thing is that the ripple effects of that might be even farther extending, right? It could be to her other siblings and, who are the people that she's going to affect and inspire in her life, right? It's so interesting. I had Dwight Ruffin, one of my Astro community members who just recently, under 30 days in gets a couple of deals done, right? Which is not typical results. I'm just going to say that, it can take you 30, 60, 90 days, sometimes even longer. If you're
the best wholesalers I know,
it can take 6 months.
Yep.
It could take some people take a year. I'm just don't give yourself an unrealistic expectation. Every person is going to be different, but this guy comes in, gets it done in a month. Right.
Yep.
And so I have a podcast with him and I talked to him and he says that after the podcast aired, he had people reaching out to him saying, Dwight, you inspired me.
Yep.
You inspired me, and I'm going to make a difference in my life. I'm going to change the trajectory of where I'm going. I'm going to do something different today because of the inspiration that I received watching and listening to your story.
Mm-hmm.
And I want all of you guys to remember that. Every one of you that showed up today, that are learning, that are taking steps and doing things to better your business and better yourselves, that people are watching. People are watching you. People that may not have the ambition quite yet, or maybe don't have the belief or the self-worth quite yet to take the step, but they're watching you with the self-worth. They're watching you develop, and they're watching you take those steps, right? And then they're getting inspired. And that inspiration is the benefit of being a human being, is that we can inspire each other into higher and better versions. I had this analogy where I talked about how we're all in this world kind of like caterpillars when we start, right? And we're crawling, and we're crawling and crawling and crawling and crawling, and we're just eating what's in front of us, right? You're just eating what's in front of you. You're just trying to survive. But then what happens is you spin up into a chrysalis, and you metamorphize into a butterfly, and you take flight. And I think of life as, when we're living in survival, we're caterpillars crawling, and you can't get mad at a caterpillar for only crawling,
right?
Because that's what caterpillars do. Caterpillars don't fly. And so if you are a caterpillar right now, and that's who you are, and you don't have the skills to fly, you don't know what you need to know in order to take flight, you are here on this podcast right now forming your chrysalis. Your chrysalis is the incubation time that you require to change and transform yourself into somebody who takes flight. Do it.
You got to take the action.
You got to.
That's the whole difference. But it's not even, if you take it off, because I think a lot of people have a problem saying, oh, if I take action, it's going to be like a selfish act, or nobody in my family's ever done this before, and all these other things. But if you look at it from a perspective of how much impact can you have for generations down the line, right? Generation. And I'm not just talking about the financial impact. I'm not just talking about the money and the assets and the properties and the businesses and all that. I'm talking about, they see you work. You know what I mean? They see you out there. They see you going out and not just living this 9-to-5 rat race type life. You know what I mean? Where everything is just kind of revolved around somebody else making decisions for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a huge difference. When I remember walking into my best friend Mike Mahoney's house, and my dad always traveled. He worked for Honeywell. It was a big corporation. He'd always have to go off and travel and be out and about. And I would walk into Mike Mahoney's house, and his dad would just be doing whatever he wants. Right? Brian Mahoney would just be doing whatever he wants. He'd be on the phone, and then he'd be cooking something, and then he'd be watching something. Then he'd go ref a football game, and he would just spend time with the kids and do all of this because nobody had control. And I was like, wow. And they had this big, beautiful house, right? And they had this big Bouvier dog, if you know what those are. It's a very
bougie dog.
Bougie dog. You know what I mean? And I was just like,
it's called a bougie.
But he never felt like he was working. It was just like he was just hanging out in his short shorts and his shirt and his polo, and he'd just be doing whatever. And I was like, wow, I want to be an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? And so, like, just little things like that, just that you don't really realize when you're in the flow of being an entrepreneur, people see and recognize and get inspired by. And if you have that pilot light that's lit inside you, and you see somebody doing something amazing, all of a sudden it starts getting that fuel that you need to really start taking action and having the confidence to do it. So maybe not just do it for yourself. Think about how many other people get impacted by the decisions that you make and the actions that you take and the consistency that you have and the confidence that you have and the unabashed curiosity that you have to be better every single day and to learn more and to be humble enough to be open to other people that are further ahead of you, giving you really great advice.
Dude, I couldn't agree more. I thank you for that.
And we're flying high tonight.
We are flying high tonight. But what I want to know is, who in the chat right now is a newcomer? Okay? Yeah. If you're a newcomer, put an N in the chat. And I've got a method I got a reason for you doing this. But if you're a newcomer, put an N in the chat, because I want to do some matchmaking in here. I want people to be able to connect with you, right? And sometimes it's difficult for us to understand who's new, who hasn't been here before. Look at this.
Awesome.
We've got a lot of newcomers here. That's one of the most beautiful things about Wholesale Hotline is that this show grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And look at all the new people in here. So guys, everybody who is an Astro Flipping community member, everybody who's in TTP, everybody who's in subto, even if you are new in subto or Astro Flipping, I want you to do this. You're still a newbie here. If you are a seasoned viewer, if you're somebody who is already generating $20,000 or $30,000 a month in income, if you're somebody that is in the business right now and you are making it happen, I want you to understand and look at all of these new people. Look at all the N's in the chat. Okay? It is your responsibility to connect with these people. And all you newcomers, it's your responsibility to be receptive and to also reconnect with the people that are in the chat. This is how connections are formed. This is how deals are made. This is how businesses are formed. It's on you guys to connect and do this work in the chat. So I'm actually shocked at how many new people are in this. This is crazy.
Make sure you put where you live, you're doing business, so that you can connect with people and not just leave this in a digital world, but in the physical world as well, and meet up with people and be surrounded by incredible go-givers out there that really want to support and put some wind behind your sales, especially when you're getting started. Because the fact is, you're going to have conversations. I had a conversation with my cousin over the weekend, speaking of family again. He finally was like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? And I've told him, and I've told him, and I've told him, and my parents have told him, and my sisters have told him. Everybody's told him.
But every time he's heard it, it's been like this.
But it's but nobody knows. I mean, he's a doctor. He's a urologist. He's like super, smart, and he was part of the Air Force for 20 years. He did incredible service. I mean, he's just a wonderful guy.
I have to forgive me for asking this, but does the urologist look at penises or buttholes?
It is the penis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. I just had to know.
I think you're thinking of a proctologist.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Urologists deal with people with prostate issues.
Sure.
But that's a butthole.
Well, it's all connected.
Okay. Anyways, guys, we'll also make this fun for you. So, hey,
so just imagine my cousin doing that all day long.
Well,
he's not concerned about what I'm doing on a daily basis. How dare he? How dare he? This is ridiculous.
Wow.
Do you know what got him though?
What?
My TV commercial.
Did it?
Yep. He's like, I saw you on TV. Like, what are you doing? Did you explain,
that is
wholesaling?
Great. That is one of the funniest and best things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Guys, put your questions in the chat.
But the reason I bring that up real quick, is because nobody's going to understand what you're doing. The people in the chat, the people that are interested in this, the small sliver of the human population that understands what wholesaling real estate is, they're here. They're connecting with you right here. This is your opportunity to squad up. And that really is the motto and the heart and the soul of this business is to squad up, because truly you're going to go a lot further together than you will. Absolutely. I mean, you could get out fast by yourself, but if you really want to get going, you have to have friends. You have to have friends in this business.
Hey, so explain our backdrop to the folks that are asking if we're in a private jet, a spaceship.
Yeah.
What's going on here, Brent? Where are we today?
We're flying over the country. We're flying at light speed. We're just going so fast. No, this is just. I thought it would be nice. I thought that, everybody has pictures in like private planes and all that stuff. So I thought, you know what? Let's do this. This
is a really nice private plane, by the way, because I've been in a private jet before. And
this is an AI generated jet.
Oh, okay. Got it.
If you look close, it gets real wacky. If you look close, it gets real wacky.
Okay. Anyhow, guys, put your wholesale related questions
guys,
in the
we're
chat.
Gonna be answering
we want to go and knock through them today. If there's questions that you have, somebody said I need a POF. Okay, guys, my proof of funds service is going to come back. It's not up yet, but here's what you do in the meantime. You Google local hard money lender. So if you're in Florida, Google Florida hard money lender and have a conversation with them tomorrow. And guess what they'll give you? A proof of funds. It's really as easy as that. You just tell them, hey, I'm a wholesaler. I'm looking to put offers out there. I need a hard money lender that can back me financially for my offers. Can you send me a proof of funds? And they'll send you a proof of funds. If the first guy says no, call a second. If the second guy says no, call a third. If the third guy says no, you probably suck. And what you should do is have a conversation with somebody to let them understand and hear what you're saying, and then fix it and then try again and it'll work out. You're probably just not that good.
Yeah, I mean, so when you're making offers with that have agent representation,
yes, sir,
or attorney representation, you typically have to show them proof of funds.
Correct.
Right? And
yes,
guys, we're going to go through this I'll go through this every episode until it's really, really, really like just in every, because we have a lot of new people in here. The fact is, the whole business is set up for wholesalers to succeed. And the reason I say that is this: there is something called transactional funding, which means that there is way more money than there are good deals. There is. And so transactional funding will give you 100%. They are your funding partner. They will give you 100% of the purchase price to be able to purchase that property.
Correct. And if you guys are looking for transactional funding, I have $20 million available. Actually, we've put $1.5 million out in the last couple. I got $18.5 million available to lend on your deals, meaning you don't need to have the money to close on your first transaction. I'll close it for you. And we can just sell it to your buyer the next day, and away we go. I take a point, you take the fee, whatever's left over, and that's a great day at the track. So if you guys need transactional funding, go to flipcashtoday.com. Flipcashtoday.com. Also works if you can't put assignments on your contract, or if you're working in a state where you need a license to wholesale, you can use transactional funding to get around any of those regulations or shenanigans.
I am telling you, the people in the Rhino Tribe that live in the states that you need a license, Illinois in particular, are absolutely destroying. They are going bananas right now because everybody's so afraid of wholesaling, and you can't do assignments without a real estate license, that they just use transactional funding every single time and are making massive profits. I mean, it is ridiculous. It is a blue ocean out there. I mean, it is just wide open for anybody. So if you're in one of those markets that requires a license, and I think there's going to be more and more and more, I think in the next 20 years, we thought it was going to be in the next 2 years, and we thought it was going to be in the next 5 years, and we thought it was going to be in the next 10 years or whatever. I think it's going to be further and further and further. I think most states are going to require you to disclose if you are wholesaling, which is built into our wholesaling contracts. And if you need that, that's at wholesalinginc.com. Wholesalinginc.com. You can get a ton of resources there. But I love this question.
Yeah. Can I
initiate this?
Wholesale.
And then you could talk.
I would love to hear your answer.
Listen, there is a property owner that has a problem. Okay. Whether that is a problem with the condition of the property, they just can't keep it up anymore. Whether that's a financial problem that they just can't afford it anymore, or whether that's an emotional problem, something they just, the property, they don't care for it. They don't want to be around it. It's just something that they want to never think about again. And what our job is to go and have a conversation with those property owners that have a problem with their property. And then we put that property under something called a purchase agreement. Once we have that purchase agreement, they can't sell that property to anybody else. We have exclusive rights to purchase that property. As soon as we have that document put together, we have an asset that we can sell. Now we can close on it. We could buy that property and flip it. We could buy that property and hold it, or we can get that property and assign our ability to purchase it to somebody else. Then you go and you match up with an investor that's out there, and you find somebody that wants that opportunity, and they will pay you something called an assignment fee for that opportunity. And so they pay you anywhere. It's probably an average of what, 15,000?
Yeah.
15,000 nationwide. Typically it's about 10%. You want to be around 10% if you can of what the fixed up value is going to be. And you get 15,000 just for taking your name, replacing your name on this purchase agreement with somebody else's. That's it. They pay you for that opportunity. And that's how you make an assignment fee, close it. And that's typically what wholesaling is. Now, I believe wholesaling is just the art and skill of finding great opportunities that have potential out there in the marketplace, great potential in real estate. Your take. What's wholesaling? How do you wholesale?
That's exactly it, right? You're looking for something that has an opportunity or potential in it, right? Wholesale, what it really means is you're selling the potential. Okay, that's it. You've identified there's potential in this opportunity. There's potential in this house. There's potential in this retail building. There's potential in this commercial building. There's potential in this multifamily building, whatever it is. Typically, I deal in single family. Brent typically deals in single family.
Yep. Why?
So it's just there's so many more buyers.
Bigger pool.
There's so many more buyers available out there for single family that are ready to take one house off your hands for a good deal. And so we're looking for these potential opportunities. And like Brent said, we're going to put these opportunities under contract. We're going to lock them up, right? So that nobody else can buy it and the seller can't sell it to anybody else. And then you just sell that document. You're literally selling your contract. You're selling the rights to purchase the house. It is called wholesale real estate, and it's flipping contracts. Now, the most incredible thing about this is that you don't require to have money, credit, or a real estate license to do it. Some people will say, well, Jamil, what do you mean you don't need money? You need earnest deposits. And I'll say, well, you know what? There just seems to have been this genius of a man called Pace Morby who introduced the world to this concept called gator lending, where if you don't have earnest money, somebody will lend it to you. And if you're a gator, put a gator in the chat. If you're a gator, put a gator. I want to show you how many people are available right now to fund your EMDs in the chat right now. You're going to see it's going to go gator, 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 gator. Why? Why? Because this is what it is. So you don't even have to look far. They're here in the chat. Okay, if you're a private money lender, put PML in the chat. If you're a private money lender, put PML in the chat. I want people to understand and see just how sophisticated this community is and how many people you have access to for private money, for earnest money. If you are good at filling out contracts, we got private money lenders in. There you go. Private money lender, private money lender, private money lender. So you've got people who are willing to come to the table with funds to help you do your deal. If you're a buyer, if you are a cash buyer, put CB in the chat right now. Look, this is the thing, right? Someone's brain right now is firing off saying, well, how am I going to find the earnest money? Well, how am I going to find the buyer? Well, how am I going? You got cash buyers. You've got earnest money deposit lenders. You've got private money lenders. If you're good at contracts and you can help people with transaction coordinating, put TC in the chat. I'm telling you, you have no reason to say you don't have all of the pieces that you require in the 444 people that are watching this right this second. They're all in the chat. They're all ready to do business with you. TC in the house. There we go. I mean it, right? This is what this is. Wife is training in TC. So look at this. People are saying, damn, I couldn't believe it. That's what's happening in the chat right now. These are the resources you guys have available to you.
That's why we do the show every Monday. That's why it was created.
That's it.
That's why we do it every single Monday, so that there is no excuses in our industry for people to be able to take action right away. Because I think the first thing, and the question is, where do I begin? The first thing you do is you squat up. The first thing that you do is you find your tribe. The first thing you do is you get around people that are already doing this, that have the conviction and understand how powerful this is. This is a money printing machine.
Yes, sir.
This is an ATM. Every problem that you've had from a financial standpoint can be solved with this business, without a doubt, because we've had every financial problem. And this is exactly the blueprint that we used to get out of it, not only to get out of it, but to thrive, not only to thrive, but to be able to build businesses that run without us.
That's it.
Automated.
Yes, sir.
Automated. You're not going in there and negotiating deals on a daily basis and getting into the mix and making sure that everything is running smoothly.
Dude, I mean, with the number of volume of deals that we do at my company. Now listen, I got to admit that for the ego, I do some deals personally. I like Monique Walker, for instance, won't work with anybody else, right?
Yeah, but that's just fun.
It's fun. So I do some deals myself because I got to stay in the mix. I got to stay sharp. I also love being on the phone and doing the things for trainings. And so hey, I'm going to get involved and do some work because you guys still need to see that the man's got it.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, okay, Hans19 says, can a foreigner do a complete virtual wholesale deal in the U.S. currently living in Singapore? Hans, there is a young man in the chat. His name is Swayam, okay? He is right now currently sitting in Bombay or New Delhi, one of the two. He's in India. It's a weird-ass time for him, but he's going to be here because this is what he does. He's in the Astro community. He's virtually wholesaling. And all he does is call real estate agents virtually from his little phone in India, wherever he is in India, and he's now 4 deals in for the month. 4 deals in. Okay, he's 17 years old. Okay, he's 17 years old, and I'm going to say this, and I mean it with the most respect, and I'm an Indian person too, so I almost feel like I can say it. Boy's got an accent. Okay, he does, and it doesn't stop him. It doesn't stop him. He's on the phone. He's pushing through it. He's got it, and he knows what he's talking about. He learned what he needed to learn, and he's putting it together. He's got no excuses, and that perseverance is the reason why he's killing it day after day after day. He's making all the money, and I couldn't be more proud. So, Hans, absolutely, you can do this from Singapore. You can do it virtually. You can do all of this.
Dimitri, he's in Europe. David, he's in Nigeria. Daniel, all these, is in Israel. All of them have at least $500,000 businesses. Absolutely incredible. David, maybe not. David's getting there. I'll challenge you, David, to do that from Nigeria, but he's well over 6 figures. I mean, incredible. Absolutely. Listen, this business is about effective communication. This business is about going out there with courage and talking to strangers all day long. And really, there's only 3 ways to talk to people that you don't know. All right. You can go out there and you could spend a bunch of money on marketing, and they'll call you. You can build up a network of referrals where people will reach out to you because they know that you buy houses that need renovation. And then you could go out and pick up the phone or knock on doors and be proactive and call people or knock on the doors. You know what I mean? Like there's not a tremendous amount of ways to initiate these conversations. So pick which one you want. I mean, you built the biggest wholesale. Are you the biggest? I feel like you are.
Yeah,
but I mean, right.
You know, there's some big dudes out there doing good work, right?
But they've been around a lot longer than you guys.
Yeah, but I don't know that anybody's still touching our volume, right? So I mean,
but it was built off of referrals.
Yes,
it was built off of relationships.
Correct.
It was built off of don't just buy drugs, go and talk to the drug dealer. You know what I mean? What was the analogy? It's a great one.
Yeah, I mean,
like when we go to a property owner, you do one deal.
Yeah,
right. You do one deal with the property owner. You go to an agent,
you can do 10.
Right.
I mean, Monique Walker is one agent that I cold call now over a decade ago, and her and I are closing upwards of 5 deals a month. I've said it repeatedly that if I only answered one person's phone calls, I'd have $1 million a year business. If I just picked up Monique Walker's phone calls, that's it. One agent. Right? That relationship is so tight, so strong. She brings me the opportunities. I price them out for her. I tell her what number I need to get them under contract at. She goes and offers that to the seller. And she does it in the most upstanding way possible. She says, let me tell you what's up. I've got an investor who needs to make money, okay? And he's going to give you, he has a cash offer available to you. I have his number in my back pocket. There's few options you got. You could fix this house up because it needs a lot of work. And I could introduce you to the people who will fix it up and make it look a little bit better and presentable, and we can sell it for this amount, this number. You could really renovate the house and go, balls to the wall, like HGTV style renovation. It's going to cost you a pretty penny, and this is what we could possibly get for it if we do a really good job on the renovation. Or if you want a quick transaction, if you want to just get what you can get cash, I have a cash option for you. Now, all of these options are available. What would you like to look at? And it's interesting. Like 1 out of every 10 times they choose me.
Yeah.
Right? Think about that.
Why?
1 out of every 10, because people sometimes need the convenience of the cash offer. That's just what they chose.
Speed and convenience. Listen,
how many people have traded a car in?
Every seller, there's three things to factor in: speed, convenience, price. Speed, convenience, price. If they want speed and convenience, then they're taking our price. Correct. That's it.
Correct.
Now, most people. Now, listen. This is the 6 to 10% of people that are in some sort of distress and they want to get it done right now. The rest of the market, no. A real estate agent watching this would be like, that never happens. I can't imagine, because that's how I felt. At least I'm just putting myself in the mind of most real estate agents. Happens every single second of every single minute of every single hour of every single day. It does. It happens all the time.
Yep.
All the time, people will trade speed and convenience for price. And that's what we're looking for. That's how you find the opportunities.
Now, Robert said, so what I'm understanding here is you bypass the little guy and you go to the big mover and shaker. No, sir. I talk to every real estate agent. I talk to the little guys. I talk to the big guys. I talk to the medium guys. I talk to the brand new ones. I talk to the old ones. I talk to the ones that are old that don't know they're old. So they got the really outdated picture on the bus stop. I talk to everybody because I don't believe that you can do this business without being as well known and completely putting yourself out there as much as possible. So for me, I know this is a volume game. You guys heard it right. Maybe 1 to 2 out of every 10 people are going to take the cash option. So I got to have a lot of conversations, right? Emily Vogt said in the chat, if you want to find her comment here, was a really good one. She's like, how do you deal with an agent who says, I got offers above asking? What would you say there?
On a listed property?
Yeah.
Why haven't you taken them?
Exactly. I mean,
why haven't you taken them,
right? So if an agent has a property sitting active on the market and you've talked to them and you called them and you said, hey, I'm just, checking in, what's going on with the house? It's been on the market for quite some time here. What's going on with the seller? Is there any motivation to move here? And they say, well, yeah, blah, 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 but we're really looking for a specific number. Okay, cool. And then you give them your number and they're like, oh, we've got offers way higher than asking. It's like, then guys, that's like the worst lie you could possibly tell somebody, right? Because it's basically saying, hey, oh, wait, no, I can't take this because I got something better when there's nothing better, right? Why would they have even had the conversation with you in the first place? So I think sometimes you just got to chalk it up to that's just how agents retort. Sometimes real estate agents just won't be honest and tell you, well, it's just not high enough for my seller right now because he's a miser, or that's not high enough for my seller right now. I might have misrepresented what I thought I could sell this house for. Whatever it is, that's the truth. The fact is you need to know that, and you need to not give up after the first attempt. Okay, you got to try a second time. You got to follow up a third time. The facts are is whether you're talking to a real estate agent or a homeowner, you are going to need to follow up with your lead 8 to 13 times, either way, agent or homeowner. You're going to need to follow up 8 to 13 times before that lead turns into a contract. So stop thinking it's over because you got rejected once. That's not how this works. Get out of your feelings. Get out of there. You're not an entrepreneur if that's going to push you away. If 1 rejection, 2 rejection, 10 rejections push you away, stop. Go get your W-2 job. That's where you belong.
Yeah. I've talked to 45,000 property owners myself.
Yep.
And most of those are rejection. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But that's the skill. You build up the skill. You build that. Being able to have thick skin and not get emotional is a skill. Because I'm telling you, the most expensive part of our business is our emotions.
That's it,
without a doubt. Farheen, everybody is submitting over ask on houses. What do you do at the point if the numbers don't add up? Well, first of all, let's not make just broad statements with everybody. I know you're going to get it. I know it's going to, but I get it. I understand. It's just, I understand that if you're making offers on properties and they first hit the market and it's getting bid up and bid up. Here's something that I think is really important to understand. The more buyers that you talk to, the more opportunities you get to recognize potential. So what I would do is I would watch a property on the market that sold to somebody else and see what it really sold for. And then I'd see who bought that. What's the company that bought that? And then I'd kind of track it and see, okay, I'm going to pull this thread and see what they end up doing with the property. What are they doing? Are they fixing this property up? Are they keeping it in their portfolio? What was the strategy here to be able, and I would just call up that buyer.
Right.
And I would say, hey, listen, I saw that you bought this property off the MLS. I know this is completely random, but I was just wondering what your plans are with it. And usually they're pretty cool. Usually they'll tell you what they're going to be doing with it because they think that you're a buyer, or they think that, you have a buyer for them, or maybe you have a tenant for them, or whatever else. Who knows? And so when you follow what is happening with the properties that you get beat out on, you can start adding those buyers, adopting those buyers into your database. So then when you run across a property that's in a similar area and you see the prices going up, you can see if you can work with that buyer to get that deal. You know what I mean? Or find one even better, in my opinion. You find a property that's similar to it in the area that's not listed. and you get it at an even lower price than you did when it was listed because there's not a built-in commission in there, and you bring that to your buyer. And now you're just cherry picking. Now you're sniping all the different properties that fit that box of what they're looking for. And that's why a lot of people made a fortune last year until the carousel stopped with the hedge funds.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a buyer right now that will buy a property and lease it back to the property owner after they buy it. Right?
Yeah.
How many times do people want to sell their property, but not for 6 months or not for a year or not for anything else?
I've done that deal a number of times. Yeah. The numbers just have to make sense. That's it.
And so, there's, usually you'd be like, no, you can't stay in your house. No, you can't be in here anymore. No, you can't get prepaid rent that was pulled out of the equity that you had in the property. There's always unique opportunities, guys, and you don't know about them unless you see them, unless you're really, really, really curious as to what happens with all these properties. Not the ones that you get. I don't think you learn as much with the ones that you get. I think you learn a lot more from the ones that you don't get, and you follow up and see what the strategy was on it.
Absolutely.
That's been my education for a long time.
The one additional piece I want to add to Fareen Hussein, and we'll move on to the next question. Fareen says, of course, you'd already touched on the everyone. We're not going to deal with that. But if people are submitting over ask, I would fair to say that you are offering on freshly listed MLS properties. 100%. And I will tell you that is a difficult, not impossible. I've done that too, but it's difficult to deal with those houses because you're typically going to get people overbidding when a house first hits the market and it's well priced. People are going to overbid. Now, why are they going to overbid? Well, they're going to want to win the contract, and then guess what they're going to do while they're in their inspection period? They're going to renegotiate or do what's called a retrade. And then that seller might cancel that contract saying, hey, you bait and switched me. You came in and you gave me $200,000. Then during the inspection, you said you needed at 120. I don't want to follow through with this deal. And they cancel. So be that guy, Fareen, that says, you know what? I don't think these investors really understand their numbers. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to let this play out for you. But I'm going to call you back on the 7th or 8th day of the inspection period. And I'm going to ask you how it's looking. Because you're going to have a really good idea if you're dealing with a legitimate buyer who's actually going to follow through at the number that they told you. I'm just going to follow back up with you. Is that okay with you? And then do it. Then follow back up and see how many times that deal falls apart. Almost always, especially when they get overbid. So don't let that discourage you. Second, go after houses that have been on the market 30, 60, 90, 120 days. There's more motivation there. Yeah, they may be overpriced. Of course they're overpriced. The market rejected the price. That's why they haven't sold yet. But guess what? Now the seller's worried. Now the agent's worried. Now they want to make a deal. Now they're willing to listen to reason. So now you can have a reasonable conversation with a reasonable person. The frenzy of a fresh listing makes people unreasonable. Time and the phone not ringing makes people reasonable, right? Think about it the last time that your girlfriend didn't call you back.
Yeah, and if they can't get this price, what's their plan with the property? I've asked that like a bazillion times.
Yeah.
If they can't get the price that they want, what's their plan?
Right.
And then if they say, and oftentimes I would say probably in my experience, 9 out of 10 times, oh, they don't really need to sell it. They'll just hold on to it for a while.
Right. Okay, so then you don't have a motivated seller. Right. You got a tire kicker.
So do you have any other listings that would consider a lower offer on their property or an offer that makes sense to an investor?
There you are.
And then you try to find something else. But if not, you move on. I mean, it's just numbers.
Yep.
You'll find somebody.
Exactly. And then you're also going to have situations where somebody overbids and then overpays. In fact, today I got sent a property from a friend. Art, if you're here, I love you. But he sends me a property and he's like, hey, bro, what would you pay for this house? And I'm like, well, the person who just bought it on 9/25 paid about 30 or 40,000 more than I would have paid for it.
Yeah, sure.
And he was like, oh, dang, really? I'm like, yeah, they overpaid. This is not how this house is going to play out. And so there is the odd person who overpays. It happens, right? And they're going to learn. They're going to learn quickly. But the reason why you're on Wholesale Hotline tonight is because you're not going to be that person. You're not going to be the mark. You're going to be the person who learns their numbers. You're going to be the person who learns how to value property and comp property correctly. You're going to be the person who knows how to make a legitimate offer that's going to not be low, but it's going to make sense financially. And then you're going to connect all the beautiful souls in this chat, and you're going to find ways to sell those opportunities and make your cash.
What are you going to do? Are you going to spend money on marketing? Are you going to build up your network of referrals? Or are you going to go out and pick up the phone and call property owners? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? If you don't have a budget for people to call you, guess what? You're still proactive. You still have to reach out to a tremendous amount of real estate agents.
True.
You still have to have a lot of conversations. And the more skilled you are at those conversations, the less people you have to talk to.
Correct.
It's an absolute fact, right?
That's
Somebody
it.
brand new that has not developed the skills is going to have to talk to a lot more people than Jamil would have to talk to if he's calling them. It's just a fact.
Yeah, I've got the muscles, right? I got the, there's that.
But that's what you can always rely on.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that quadrant of learning before?
Yeah.
You've got unconscious incompetence, right? That's the first quadrant, unconscious incompetence. Then you have conscious incompetence. Okay, that's the next quadrant. Then you have conscious competence, and then you have unconscious competence. I'm going to quickly walk you through them. Unconscious incompetence is when you think you know, but you don't know. Is when you think you know, but you don't know. And how do I know that there's people out there who are like that? Well, because I listen in on some of the Astro Flipping sales calls, and I hear what they say when they're talking to a salesperson. They're like, so tell me how good a comper you are. Oh, I'm the best. Oh, yeah? How many deals have you done? Lots. I'm really good. I just want to know if Jamil knows that one strategy, that one secret strategy that's going to make me rich. I'm only on the call for that one strategy.
Yeah.
And then they join.
Yeah.
And then you talk to them, and it's like, hey, how's it been going? I haven't done my first deal yet. Oh, crap.
Mhm.
Hey, can you help me comp this house? Okay, so you were just full of crap on that call. Then that's okay, because I get it. You were on a sales call, so you had your defenses up. You're like, ooh, someone's going to sell me here. So I gotta lie. But there's also people who are going to say to you, oh, you can learn everything on YouTube. Yeah. You can learn, and you can. You can learn everything on YouTube. It's going to take you a lot of time. It's going to take you time to compile, and you're going to learn from people in this community, and it's going to take you time. And that's a good way to go about it. If you don't have a budget to get a coach, learn from other people. That's totally the right way to go. But some people say, you know what? I'm going to write the check, and I'm going to bypass the line, and I'm just going to go straight to go. I'm going to get to the source, and I'm going to get this done quicker. And that's what this is all about, guys.
That's it.
That's what this is all about. So understand that. Understand that there's so many. You can either pay for speed and convenience, right, which is what getting a coach is. You can not pay, and you can just say, I'm going to take the longer road, and I'm going to just take my time with it, and you can learn on YouTube, which this is what we do. This is why we give you all this stuff for free, so you can learn this stuff. But then you can also just BS.
Yep. Listen,
what are you going to do?
Industrial age turned into the information age, which now we're in the social age. That's just the fact.
Yep.
That's just the fact. I mean, listen, all the information you could ever want on every creative deal, on every deal structure, on every way to talk to a property owner or talk to a cash buyer or talk to anybody. Do any of the skills required to build $1 million real estate business is out there. Who do you got around you?
Love it.
Who's your tribe?
That's it.
That's all it comes down to. I mean, truly. I mean, listen, if you, and this is with anything, this is with any kind of business, find somebody that's going to get you results faster and surround you with people that are going to be your support system. Amen. You can't lose. Nope. It's just time and effort at that point. So just a little spiel there. So go to wholesalinginc.com and register. No.
That's great. No, but really do it, guys. I mean, I'll tell you this, in this space, if you're going direct to seller and you're calling homeowners, and this is the way that you're getting proactive in building your business, and you want those fat, juicy checks, and you're going to go direct to homeowner, I don't know a better person in the business than this man right beside me. I truly don't. I've learned from you. Thousands of people have learned from you to do that, and you do a phenomenal job, right? He does a great job of teaching you how to do this. I do things a little different, right? I have more of a relationship-based approach. I like working with real estate agents because to me it feels a little bit more professional, more business-like, and I can get a different kind of lead. I can get a longer-term relationship with an agent, just the way I like to do things.
It's also much faster to scale. because you don't have to be going on all the appointments all the time.
Correct.
And going and meeting with the property owners. You're essentially doing the third part of the real estate business, which is exit strategy. You're finding the buyers. So you're really building up an incredible buyer database. And listen, if there's one asset in this business, for most of it, I mean, some people build really big brands like Keegley, but most of it is your cash buyer database. That is your asset that you have. And nobody is better at building a cash buyer database and selling more deals than anybody else can, because people come to you even with big buyer bases,
Big time.
and they're like, hey,
Help me.
Can you sell this?
Yep.
And you're like, yeah, no problem.
Every day.
Bloop.
Every single day, I get somebody who's a juggernaut in the business says, hey, I'm a juggernaut, but you're the bigger juggernaut. So help me out with this deal. And it works. It's great. It's great. This is collaboration. I love my competitors because we make money all together. Brent's a competitor.
Yep.
We've made how many hundreds of thousands of dollars together in the past?
Million.
Right?
Couple
million bucks. This is how we roll. We do it. He's my brother. I love making money with him. Guys, somebody asked in the chat, is it better to network in person? I can't find the comment in here, but is it better to network in person, or is it better to network in these digital environments like Wholesale Hotline, the chat? Do I go to these virtual events? Do I go to the in-person event? Do I buy the virtual ticket? What's the best way for me to network with people? Because there's a lot of people that I can do business with that are showing up to things like this. My personal opinion is you got to do a mix of both.
Yep.
I think that in-person is really important, right? Brent and I were just at an in-person mastermind. We both wrote a check to be a part of. It's an expensive mastermind, but it's a high-level mastermind, right? Everybody in there is doing big things. And so for me, I write a check and I get into a room like that. Now I can ask other people who are doing big things what things they're doing so I can see if I can implement them and put them into my business, right? So those kinds of events, I'm in person, I'm shaking hands, I'm doing the thing, right? There's other times where I'm in a virtual event. Like for instance, if I'm going to a Grant Cardone event, for instance, right? Whatever your opinion is on Grant, personal friend, but whatever your opinion is, it doesn't matter to me. If you are going to a 10X event, my suggestion would be go in person and buy a virtual ticket. The virtual ticket's usually $100. The in-person ticket's probably $500. You have your one partner who doesn't want to travel be on the computer, in the chat, communicating in the chat, networking digitally, and you have the extrovert go out to the event, shake hands, and make friends with people in person. This is how you monetize events like that. So you got to do a mix of both, right? I think it's important. When Pace and I go into a city and we do a pop-up, 300 people pop up. Okay, cool. 300 people popped up, but there's 500 on this episode right now. There's 500 people on this that you can network with. So there's a lot of power in these digital stages. It's just true. What are your thoughts?
I love in person. It's
your jam.
I love in person. Is
it because people can see how big your biceps really are?
That's usually it.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, you look smaller on TV. And I'm like, thank you. You know what I mean? It's amazing. No, I think that there's something magical when you can get the full aspect of communication, when you can look people in the eyes, you can see if they're listening, you can see if they're active, you can see, if they're actually focused on that conversation, or if they're looking around or whatever else. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that there's something great about getting together. Do you absolutely need it? And maybe there's not. Maybe you're in a smaller town and there's just not a really great meetup group that you feel comfortable with. So we got you. You know what I mean? But I think that you could probably find some amazing people everywhere. And and I think it's getting out of your comfort zone to go and meet with people and connect with them and try to provide value.
Live for the Lord before it's too late, asked. Love that. Question. May I partner with someone who is doing a 1031 exchange on an old house into new apartments built onto the same property? That's a technical question. I think we should both take a stab at it. What do you think, Brent?
It depends. I mean, it depends on, are they buying it with the 1031 money?
I think what's happening
is it has two different types.
Yeah, I think somebody's got a house and they want to not pay taxes on it, so they want to do a 1031 exchange, okay?
Into new apartments.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Built on the same. I don't think
you can do that, because
it would have to be split.
A 1031 exchange is usually like for like.
Yeah.
Right? So they want you to purchase something that's similar to the property that you've sold. And so if this person sold a single family house, my understanding is that they have to roll over into another single family house.
I love the creativity.
Right?
Hey, let's take this old house
Yeah.
with a big lot. Let's put some new apartments on the back. Let's just sell the front part and then
Yeah.
put it into the new ones.
Yeah.
No taxes,
No
bro.
taxes. Possible. I mean, look, the legalities of that, I
don't
would
know.
talk to a tax professional, an
For
accountant,
sure.
and probably a criminal lawyer, because there could be a thing you're going to have to deal with at the backside of that. But I love it.
I mean, here's the thing, you can get as creative as you want with taxes and be right. But if they audit you all of a sudden that's all where your attention's going. So remember that it takes a lot of attention and stress to deal with that. So get as creative as you want, try what you want, but I am unbelievably conservative. I don't touch any of my income until it's taxed now.
I understand.
Yeah. I won't. I'm putting it all. I want to get a refund. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For paying too much.
Yep.
That's the position I'm in at this point. But you had some paying taxes is for turds.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Well, dude, I've got some pretty incredible strategies that I've been using right now in my business. I'll talk about them very quickly here.
Yes.
So first thing I've been doing is on all my rentals, I've been getting a cost segregation study done on them.
Yeah,
Right? It's
sure.
an engineering report, and I have access to an incredible company.
Yeah.
That'll get it done for $1,600, and they'll do it a turnaround for you in under a week.
No.
Bro.
Hook that up.
Incredible.
I think I spent
thousands.
Well, for commercial, yeah.
Small commercial, this might have been
Come on.
$2,000, dude.
No.
Yeah, you probably spent 10, right?
8.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? I've got a really good connect with an engineering firm. And so I've been doing these cost seg studies. So I did a $1,600 cost seg study on my Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
After the cost seg study, guess what it took off on my taxes?
How much?
$180,000 off
great.
of my tax bill.
Yep.
So my $1,600
Now, is
I
that
leveraged.
off of what you owe, or is that it takes it off of your total income and then you're taxed at that?
It took off my taxes.
Awesome.
Off my taxes.
Yeah.
So that was incredible
Mhm.
for me, right? Second strategy that I've been using. This one is a little bit outside of my box because I'm not in the car rental game, and I will never pretend to be one. But I am actually now, I guess, in the game, and I'm now own a fleet of vehicles that are being rented out. But what I do is I leverage Section 179 of the tax code that says that I can do accelerated depreciation on any vehicle that's over 6,000 pounds that is in my company's name being used for company purposes. So what I do is I buy all these properties in my LLC's name. And if you guys need a good lender to help you get qualified for these things, again, I can help you with that. I can even introduce you to the car brokers that'll help you get the vehicle and not pay sales tax on the vehicle, and also have it titled in your LLC's name, which is incredible. So I have the vehicle titled in my LLC's name. I have the loan in the LLC's name. And again, guess what I do? I get accelerated depreciation on the vehicle for the total amount. Now, I just did that on a 2021 Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
Yep.
Okay. This vehicle is about
It weighs over 6,000.
It's over 6,000 pounds. The vehicle costs just under $400,000 to purchase. And you might say, oh my God, that's a lot of money. But what it did when I did accelerated depreciation on the car, it saved me $160,000 off my taxes. Now, here's the kicker. I financed that car with $60,000 down. My payment on the car is $5,900 a month. Okay?
I'm following.
It cash flows $10,000 a month on Turo. So think about this. I saved 160 and I only paid 60 down. So I really saved 100, right? And then in 6 months, guess what happens to the 60 that I put down? It's back in my jeans. And then every month after that, it's cash flow.
Love it.
I don't have a single rental that does that. Then I did it on a Ford Bronco. There's specific Ford Broncos that you can buy, and they're around $70,000, and you can put around $10,000 down on these things, and they'll cash flow $2,500 to $3,000 a month on a little Ford Bronco. I'm telling you guys, this is blowing my mind, the kind of cash flow that I'm making and the tax savings that I'm getting by buying these cars and buying these houses and doing these cost seg studies.
You're going to have to buy more cars.
Blowing my freaking mind.
You're going to have to buy more cars with the cash flow.
Dude, Pace and I were on the phone today talking about getting a warehouse space by the airport because he's got a whole fleet of vehicles now too.
Yeah, I did the same thing with ATM machines. Those get depreciated all the way. You get to write off every single dollar that you put into them, and they have a 22% return. Incredible.
I will absolutely be putting together a Zoom where I'll go into great detail on this, guys. So we'll send you out an email on that. But if you didn't, send me a DM, say taxes are for turds, and you'll get on that Zoom list.
Yeah, we paid a lot in taxes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Way too much in taxes.
Do you know why? I mean, can you explain why why it's such a benefit? Owning real estate is such a benefit for taxes. Why the government allows it? Why would the government? Why would they? Everybody knows it. Everybody knows that you can depreciate rental property or income properties. Why would the government allow that?
Well, the government wants entrepreneurs to focus on housing so that we can provide rental units for the American population.
That's it.
That's what it's for.
Because they're terrible at property management.
Yes. Guys, don't put it in the chat. Send me a DM on Instagram. Say taxes are for turds, and we'll get you on the. I can't take this chat and do it from here. Sorry.
But that's it.
Yes.
They don't want to provide housing.
They don't want to provide housing.
They don't want to provide commercial buildings.
Nope.
They don't want to do any of that stuff.
Nope.
They don't want to keep it up. They don't want the logistical nightmare of dealing with tenants and dealing with renovations and repair costs and everything else that comes along with real estate. So you get the benefit.
You get the benefit, and then also they incentivize entrepreneurship because we provide jobs.
Yeah.
Right. You come to my office at Keighley, and you see how many bodies are in there. How many people are working in that? So it looks like when you walk into my office, you think you're in Google.
Yeah.
Right. It's like there's hundreds of people in there doing all kinds of things.
No. You walk into your office, people are actually doing stuff. You walk into Google, and it's completely empty. Oh. Everybody's working from home. Everybody's working from pods, everything. I'm telling you, every time I go in to like these bigger companies, it's like 300 computer monitors and nobody there. 4 people there, 5 people there.
Scary.
You guys have a beehive to bring that back.
Yeah. It's great. And I see that, and I see all the people that have income, that have benefits, that have health insurance, that are, and bro, like I've got people on my staff that are making $40,000 a month as a W-2 employee.
Yeah.
Wholesaling houses with me.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if you're like the kind of person who says, I don't think I can do this as an entrepreneur. I need more structure. I need somebody to tell me what to do all day long. Get a job. Get a job for an entrepreneur. Be an intrapreneur. Go work in a self-employed sort of situation for somebody else, but get all the structure that you need. Right. Mm-hmm. Because that can help you. Let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. How many people in the TTP community are banding together to form little squads where they're building a company and they're doing business and doing deals? How many? You guys have a lot of JVs. You must have a lot of people that are doing that.
Partnerships that have been built. A lot of
So think about that. You can get into any of these communities. You get into TTP, Astro, Subto, and you can join the team. Right? It's a phenomenal way to cut your teeth in the business if you're wanting to have a little bit more stability and just base income to keep you going. We
have some people that they're in the military, they're truck drivers, they're teachers, they're nurses, they're doctors, they have attorneys, they have very tight schedules where they can't use their phone. They're squatting up with people in the community that are making the calls for them. You know what I mean? And it's like, not like you're hiring somebody for $4 an hour to make your calls.
Correct.
You know what I mean? These are well-trained, like superstars making the calls. And so it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But that's what squatting up is about. That's what being a part of the tribe is about. That's the social age. That's the age that we're in. That's 100% the age that we're in.
Keep your questions coming, guys.
Incredible.
We are happy to help you out. Somebody asked for a comp.
A great question.
What is it? Go ahead.
How do you know what questions to ask a title company? Right? Yeah. To know if you want to do business with them.
I've got a list. Can I?
And by the way, you're the only one. I think you're the only one that is like really deep dives with your title talk.
Big time.
And guys, the only reason that Jamil you're wildly passionate about having everybody understand each part of the process so it doesn't slow them down from taking action. And I love that about you because it's not, listen, you're not going to get 100,000 views on that video.
No.
You know what I mean?
No chance.
You're not going to get 150 comments in there being like, "Whoa, bro, you're blowing my mind."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a lot more technical. It's a lot more boring. It's a lot more, kind of education as opposed to instruction. But I love that you do that. I love that you break that down. I think that we should do more of it. I think I should do more of it as well with mine. I'm going to have my escrow officer come in and really break down some creative stuff as well, for sure.
It's great. And guess what? They'll write a check for you for doing that.
Really?
Well, let me tell you about it. So these are 10 ways that you can leverage your title company to make or save $250,000 in a year.
Can somebody write these
really
as he
quickly.
goes? Somebody be our scribe,
our
please.
typer. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 1, ask your title company for connections to other wholesalers for JV opportunities. Okay, I'm the number 1 JV wholesaler in the country. How do you think that happens? Because my title company knows who are doing deals in town and says, Jamil, meet this person. Jamil, meet this person. Jamil, meet this person. Jamil, meet this person. And guess what they do? They work with me. And so my title company will open those doors and they'll create those relationships for what purpose? So that we bring the deals to the title company for them to close.
Yep.
So number 1, connections with other JV wholesalers. That makes us anywhere between $20,000 to $50,000 a month. Number 2, discount or JVs or cash back situations with your title company. Now, check legalities for this. It depends on the state you're in for cash back incentives, but you can partner with your title company in what's called a JV. I used to JV with Magnus Title. I decided that wasn't the best fit for me, so I ended my JV and I went back to being a customer of Fidelity. I got a text message from Dina Jones last week that said, Jamil, this month, your company saved over $80,000 in title fees by working with us based off the investor discounts that we've been giving you. $80,000 saved. Number 3, your title company has what's called an internal marketing department, and they're happy to give you lead lists. So for all of you people that are saying, I don't got the money for the list, I don't got the money for the skip tracing, guess what? They'll give it to you. They'll give you the list and they'll give you the skip trace list. And they've just got it sitting there. They'll just hand that crap right over.
Especially if you're
you got a fake Italian accent, okay? Number 3. Number 4, for all of you guys that get yourself into hot pickles, this is a good one. Every title company has what's called an internal attorney, okay, on staff that they have on retainer. Now, whenever I get myself into a situation with a seller where they're like, I don't want to complete this contract anymore with you, I'm not going to sell. I guess what I can do? I can leverage the free lawyer that I don't got to pay anything to because they're the title company's attorney, and they will write a letter to my seller and say, it's better time that you come and close this deal because this man will sue you. And so you can leverage for legal advice, for legal documents, for helping you write a mortgage if you're doing a wrap deal, to help you write a deed of trust if you're going to be a private money lender. The legal team in your title company will do all that work for you, and you won't have to cut them a $5,000 check.
Every time
Yes.
it's a creative deal, every time there's an agreement with the seller and I don't know how to structure it, I just have the title company do it every time they do
right?
it. Every time they put it together.
And that would cost you how much money with an attorney?
Oh, thousands.
Right.
Not only that, they're not available most of the time, right? Real estate attorneys are all over the place. They're doing all these other things, right? An in-house counsel in the title company is going to put that together, and probably the escrow officer is probably going to just already put it together because they've already done a bunch of these deals with other people that spent thousands of dollars with their attorney to put together the paperwork. They're like, yeah, here you go. Here's the paperwork that you can use for anything. So anytime you're like, I don't know how to structure this deal, the title company does.
There you go. Number 5, if you are one of those people, and this kind of adding on to what Brent just said, but like just say, for instance, you're doing creative finance. You're like, I don't have a subto contract. Well, guess what? You call your title company and guess what they'll have? The contracts and the documents that you need to do the specific types of deals that you need to do. When I needed an assignment contract, when I first started wholesaling, where do you think I got it from? My title company. When I needed a purchase and sale agreement for my first wholesale deal, where do you think I got the contract from? My title company. Mm-hmm. All right. Number 6. After you do business and you've done more than a couple of deals, your title company will start to gain liking for you, and they will start vouching for your credibility. And this goes a long way if you're dealing with a real estate agent or you're dealing with a homeowner and they don't trust your ass. You can say, listen, I've been working with this title company. Fidelity National is the largest title company on the planet. They're one of the largest companies. They will vouch for me. I'll give you the name of the title company and the escrow officer that I work with, and you can ask them about my viability as a buyer. Can I give you their name and phone number? Or you can Google them if you think that I'm giving you the wrong one. Number 7. Guys, these are gold. Number 7, I do a meetup in my office every month that costs my team $0 yet.
Why? How?
Yet, everybody who comes to the meeting is fed quite a bit of food, okay? And quite often, they're given drinks as well. So they get food and drinks. And guess who do you think pays the bill for that whole meetup? My title company. Now, if I didn't want to hold it at my office, if I didn't have an office, let's just say I'm an unsophisticated investor and I'm brand new and I wanted to do this and I wanted to have a meetup and I wanted to say, hey, I want to put together a meetup in Biloxi. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I want to do a meetup in Biloxi. Okay. Well, what would you do? You'd go to your title company and you'd say, hey, listen, I want to do this meetup. Will you sponsor it? Will you cover it? Give me a location to do it in. And can you guys feed these people so we can like do a meetup and I can bring a whole bunch of people so we can do business together? And guess what your title company will say? Oh, we thought you'd never ask. We'd love that. Number 8, when you are in a deal and things go wrong, if you have a title company that is in your corner, you can leverage them for help and support. I've been in deals before where I've had sellers that are just being weird. I've had buyers get weird, and my title company goes to bat for me. They protect me, and they give me peace of mind in the transaction because I know I actually have somebody in my back on the deal. Number 9, I do a podcast every month, twice a month with my title company for which we make money. Right? Why? Because it's marketing, it's exposure. And so I get paid to do that. Pretty flippin' cool. You know, I've never been paid to do Wholesale Hotline. Number 10.
Any sponsors out there?
Number 10. Okay. When you are looking for an expert in the contract process so that you understand the nuts and bolts of how this deal should go, whatever the deal might be, you can get help and guidance from a very talented escrow officer. And I'm going to leverage a story that our friend Pace Morby, co-host of Wholesale Hotline, tells often. When he was getting into creative finance, where did he learn about creative finance? Who do you think taught him? Ron LeGrand? No. Jamil Damji? No. It was Eileen Brown at American Title who taught Pace about creative finance and taught him all the ninja things, and not all the things, because he's invented many things since, but really gave him the base of how he became Mr. Subto. Eileen Brown from American Title Services. Guys, what I just gave you, this list of 10 things that you can do, if you aren't doing this, you are failing. You are failing at leveraging free resources in your business. Please, guys, take that list, put it in your pipe, and smoke it.
Yeah. I was doing, I had done maybe a couple dozen deals, and I had never gotten a testimonial from a seller, right? And we had a really great deal that I was going to put under contract. And he's like, well, I need to know that, you know, who you are and how you do business and whatever. Can you send me a testimonial? And I was like, I don't like, you know, these property owners are gone. They're in the wind. I was kind of getting nervous. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to just have them talk to my escrow officer.
There you go.
It's Fidelity Title.
Right.
It's like the biggest title company in the world.
They own the Vegas Knights.
They own the Vegas Knights.
They own the Vegas Knights. Fidelity National Title owns the Vegas Knights. They also own the Golden Corral. Why do you think that every time you close a deal, they send you a pie?
That's why. No, but
it's
listen,
true.
the escrow, I had him reach out to the escrow officer and got the deal. So you can leverage their brand as well once you build that relationship, because it's a third party. And that's what I said. Listen, talk to my escrow officer. Not a lot of the property owners that I bought their properties from, you know, are comfortable getting on camera, writing a testimonial. I've asked for it, but they just haven't given it to me. Maybe I'm bad at being able to do that. But if you talk to my escrow officer, they're a third party. They have they don't care either way. They're going to have to be honest because they're a big company, right? And he made a call to the escrow officer, and boom,
that's it.
Done.
I love me. Baraka says here, what he said. They'll close your deal and they'll buy you a meal. That's That's so true. Well done. Let's ring the bell for that. It's probably the
Come
best.
on.
The best comment of the night, guys. Very,
They
very
do
good,
give you
me Baraka.
pies.
I love that, bro.
They do give you pie.
They do give you pie.
They give you a ton of pie.
Guys, keep the questions flowing in the chat. We want to ask all
Could
your
you
wholesale
imagine if
related
you
questions.
asked for a pie every closing you did?
I had to stop the pie. I was like, guys,
So did we.
listen, I'm
So did
fat,
we.
man. You guys
I'm
gotta
like,
stop sending me these pies.
stop.
I can't deal with these.
Yeah.
I can't send no more pie.
Yeah.
No more pie.
But it's interesting, right? If you look at an unbelievable business to own, or to put insurance, to be in the insurance field, title companies. I mean, that's just, it's a no brainer. I mean, literally, guys, they make billions and billions and billions of dollars ensuring that they did their job right. It's crazy. What other industry, what other insurance is there that you have to pay for the insurance, that they made sure that everything was transferred correctly when they were in charge of it? They're ensuring that they did their job. So it's a tremendous amount of net profit at the end of the day. Tremendous amount, because they go through so much to make sure that they don't make mistakes so that they don't have to pay insurance. But you pay insurance on every single deal. And so they have these huge budgets for things like lists for you to reach out to. They have these big budgets for attorneys to be available to you. They have these big budgets for, you could use their conference room almost any time. Any title company around the country will allow you to come in to a conference room that probably costs them $40,000 to put together, with all the furniture and the TVs and the carpets and the decor and everything. And you can sit in there and you can sign purchase agreements and be super professional. How about this? You work from home and they want to meet you at your office. Fantastic. I'll do you one better. Why don't we meet at Fidelity Title and we can just do it right there at the title company? They're in a big building. It's perfect. They've got a receptionist and they greet you with water and drinks and fizzy spin drifts and all sorts of different things. And they class up the whole transaction. And at the end of the time, they give them a nice glossy folder that they can take home with them with copies of everything. And they give you foot massages and they rub your shoulders. No, but I mean, that's the feeling that people feel when they go into title companies. Nobody goes into title companies.
Right.
Most of it is done by a mobile notary. So they have these conference rooms that are completely empty 99% of the time. You could go in there, and if you're 17 years old, if you're 25 years old, if you're 65 years old, and you don't want somebody to meet you at the McDonald's or meet you at wherever, and you want to be professional, meet them at your title company. I do all my stuff as a professional courtesy to you, sir seller. Why don't we meet at Fidelity Title and we'll go and put together all of the agreements and we'll move forward. How does that sound? Sounds fantastic.
Sounds
great.
Professional.
Boom.
And I bet you they'll have junior mints there.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, they have all sorts of mints.
There's a little, not the junior,
Like
the
dinner
York
mints.
peppermint patties.
Oh, I will eat a York peppermint patty.
That's the only time I ever eat a
Throw
York.
those in a freezer.
A York peppermint
Get out
patty.
of
I
town,
eat
bro.
them shits at the title company every
Ooh.
time I go.
Forget the pie.
I'm
Give us
putting two
the
in my pocket.
peppermint patties, baby.
Just give them up. I'm
Fresh
not
breath
I ain't
and a
brushing my
delicious
teeth
treat.
today. I'm going to the title company and I'm going to get my mint that way.
Aaron's like, wow, Brent, your breath smells so good. I'm like, yeah, peppermint patty, baby.
Earl Augustus said, can you also get buyers from your title company? And absolutely, you can. They'll introduce you to cash buyers, fix and flippers. They will. In fact, there's a title company here in town, Pioneer Title. I don't use them, but a very good friend of mine, Eric Reichenberger, he's the director of marketing over there. He'll actually send your deal out to his entire list.
Yeah, that's who we use.
Pioneer Title.
Yeah.
Eric's great.
Dina Stroth there is a absolute monster. She works all day, every day. It's incredible. They're absolutely incredible. But she found us a buyer that buys in small towns, specifically just buys in small towns.
Wow.
And you know,
they're hard to find.
It's like, who buys these properties in these small little towns? But you run across somebody, they don't want to sell their house in town, but they just inherited this house, or they had this house in some mining town or some small little area. And we've sold, I don't know, 4 or 5 deals this year that we would have never sold. Because we're doing more marketing, right? We're doing more TV, and that's everywhere. So it's the whole state.
Yeah,
only so we're people finding these things everywhere.
Most people that watch TV live in rural areas these days.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess. Older, for sure.
Xander asked, Jamil, how's your pad split property doing? Any hiccups? I'm in escrow right now on a subto deal here in Phoenix that was brought to me by a wholesaler. I'm turning it into a pad split. So, Xander, let me tell you what I did. So the ARV on that property was $400,000.
Yeah.
Okay. I bought it for $250,000. I spent $120,000 on the remodel.
Nice.
And my plan is to rent each of the units out, each of the rooms out.
Where's it at?
It's in right across the street from GCU.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So guess what I don't like doing?
Being a landlord.
Yes. So what would Jamil do in this instance? We leased up the property.
Yeah.
Okay. We got all the units leased up.
Yeah.
And then I listed it.
Yeah.
But not for 400, for 460.
I love it.
And guess what happened?
It's sold.
Multiple offers.
Done.
I'm in escrow right now at 485. It's going to close in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
So I sold it $85,000 above price. Appraisal contingency waived because they know it's not going to appraise. But based off of the rental income and the leases that we put up in there, it made financial sense for the buyer to buy it. So that's how I did the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Loaded up, sell. Well, essentially like a burr.
Basically,
except
what
for
it is.
No, it's just like a rent it and sell it.
Yeah. It's like doing a little multifamily.
Yeah.
You know, I did like a little sixplex in there.
I love it.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
But listen, you can. Is it glitching on here?
Is our mic a little glitchy, guys? I don't
know.
Sir, if our mics are glitchy, let us know. But
that's the first time I heard that.
Yeah, AD, it could be. You might be in a rural area. Just saying. Did you see Brent on TV?
Yeah, you will. Coming nationwide, baby. No, listen, you can build your business. I think that it is the smarter move to build your business, build a business that runs without you, and then go buy assets. I think it's a smarter move to get rich before you get wealthy. It's not everybody's move. And this is just for people that want to be full-time real estate entrepreneurs. You want to do your job and you want to buy some rentals and do some creative deals and not have to, put your cash, build up a tremendous war chest of cash to be able to buy properties, and figure out the creative stuff and buy property. Great. Build up your portfolio, long-term asset. It's going to be incredible. It helps you fight inflation. It does all those things, right? But for the people, this is a small group of people that want to be full-time real estate entrepreneurs. The fastest path is to build up a big, healthy, heavy bank account by wholesaling real estate. That's it. I'm telling you. And then when you get to the point, that's when you go and do the Turo. You don't do Turo and you do wholesale and you do flips and you do rental properties at the same time. You will go so slow. It'll be so incredibly slow and frustrating. And you're going to ruin a lot of really great relationships. I'm telling you. Just focus. Just build one. There's this great video that Alex Hermosi, that Jesse, my marketing guy, showed me, and he filled up. He had a cup, and he said, you're talking about multiple streams of income, and he's filling up these cups of multiple streams of income. But then he said, but you don't get any of these until you fill up this cup first, which is being absolutely focused here, and then all of a sudden, all those other things become available because you're focused on building an actual automated business. And then you can go and focus on the other things. The biggest mistake that people make, especially entrepreneurs, and I have certainly done this countless times, is trying to do too many things at one time with a lot of confidence.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's what it is.
So don't look at everybody, understand what chapter you're on. Understand what you're trying to build. Understand that if you build this ATM machine first, if that's the foundation that you build, that you can always source deals, you get to cherry pick the best deals for your rental portfolio. You get to cherry pick the very best deals to do massive flips. If you want to do some massive flips, so that why people lose all their money is because they're doing all of these flips at one time, and then all of a sudden the market changes, and those ones that were $30,000-$40,000 flips are now losing. But if you only do flips that are six figures and the market shifts, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. So I'm just focus on building your business, build your cash machine, and then go out and do exciting things. Be a leader of that business first before you start doing all the other things. If you want to be a full-time real estate entrepreneur, if not, buy the rentals. Do your thing. There's a ton of people. That's the whole. I feel like that's the whole Bigger Pockets audience, is people that just want to own rental properties and use that as a asset. Not all.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a
but
big part of the audience. And I think because what's happened is that, real estate has been pitched to people as like, hey guys, this is a great way to supplement life. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
look, you want to go to a few extra dinners every month. You want to have a little bit of a nicer outing, you want to take a vacation twice a year, right? Have a few rental properties, right? It'll increase your lifestyle a little bit. You'll loosen up the belt a little bit, right? You can maybe buy a few extra Christmas presents and whatnot.
Yep.
I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't excite me, right? And you want to know why Bigger Pockets has that? And this isn't shade to Bigger Pockets, but Bigger Pockets is a company, guys. And it is, when you go into Bigger Pockets, it is an organization that is run by people who want to keep people at W-2 jobs. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. Okay, so they can't be preaching about entrepreneurship and going out there and taking life by the horns and firing your boss, because guess what? They are the man. They are the man. They are the man to all the people that they employ. And so remember that. Remember who are you talking to when you're taking advice? Are you taking advice from a company that's trying to keep people in jobs and stuck in their thing? You might even say that about me. Well, Jamil, you said you had a big company called Keegley, and what about all the people that work for you there? Yeah, guess what I try to tell them all to do? Go! Become a franchise. Be an entrepreneur. Go, 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 go. I've given you a path to entrepreneurship. Let me teach you, and then let me give you the wings so that you can fly out of here. I'm not trying to hold you. I'm not trying to be your oppressor. I want to be the person that pops your gate, that lets you out the jail, not stuck in one. How do you get your money for rehabs?
Yeah, and a couple different things. A lot of the hard money lenders will give you like 90 to 100% of the funds for your rehab, as long as it's a good deal. And they might want a little experience, so you might want to squad up with somebody that has that experience to leverage that the first couple, and then you can use that on your resume, so to speak, to get those funds from the hard money lenders. You could certainly raise it from private friends and family if you want to share in the wealth there.
You have a good deal. There was all the people in the chat.
Tremendous amount of people in the chat that'll fund that. So it's just squat up. You listen, the money, there's way more money than there are deals. Always remember that, guys. There's way more. The money part is not the hard part. It's not the skills part. The skills part is finding the opportunity. That's the part. The skills and building that and being able to do that over and over again and keep learning and keep growing and keep being curious. That's how you really take this to the next level fast and really go. And when I mean next level, I don't want it just to be like just throwing that out because it's common language, but really getting to the point where you can pull yourself out of your business and it becomes a servant to you and you not a servant to it. And I'm telling you, nothing is better.
No, nothing is better, dude.
Than building an absolute cash machine that you can look at all these other opportunities. So if you want to build your rental portfolio and that's your focus, do your thing. You know what I mean? Just remember this. People talk about cash flow. The cash flow comes 20 years later. When you buy twice as many as you're going to keep, you sell half of them, you pay the other half off, and you really get cash flow. Because the fact is, look it up. Do some research. Go look at what the average cost to own a rental property is in the United States. Just upkeep. All right? It's anywhere from like $3,500 to $5,000 a year. That's without an AC going bad. That's
right.
Without pool equipment going bad.
Right.
That's without the boiler not working anymore. That's without any plumbing issues or somebody flushing a bunch of crazy shit down the toilet or extreme weather or whatever else, right? Like, let alone vacancy, let alone all those. You don't live off of your cash flow from your investments here. It's long-term wealth building if you're going to own real estate. Just understand that. That's the absolute truth. If you want to get out of your 9-to-5, if you want to have control, then you need to wholesale. It's an absolute fact. Get those big, chunky, heavy, massive deals where you get life-changing income and then fire your boss. And then watch what happens.
That's what's up.
We'll celebrate you. We'll celebrate you like crazy.
Il Doctrine said, here's $9.99 to get the likes up. We appreciate you guys. I want to answer one in-house question. Dennis Sylvan was over here. He says, what disclosure statement would you use to be honest with the people that you're doing business with? And I have the disclosure statement of all time. And it is, buyer is an LLC in the business of buying and selling real estate for a profit. Buyer may elect at any time during inspection period. 2, fix and flip, buy and hold, and or wholesale property at buyer's sole discretion. All rights reserved. And with that, guys, we're out.
We love you. We'll see you next week.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.